I am fucking tired of my life. Really wish I could come to terms with death. But for whatever reason, I can't. And it's really annoying. I just can't lend myself to it. I think about it all the fucking time. In a lot of ways, all my art is revolved around this idea of mortality. Like I'm obsessed with it, you know. And this is where somebody chimes in. They're like, you gotta get busy living or get busy dying, some sort of like really reductionist bullshit like that from some like bargain bin philosopher. It's like, yeah, true. But I'm doing the life stuff. It's not working out. And just because it's not working out and I'm still trying, doesn't mean I have to fucking commit one way or the other, you know what I mean? Life is not as simple as a fucking one and a zero, you know. But I'm just so tired. I'm just so fucking tired all the time. Physically, fucking spiritually, mentally. I just feel so done. And the prospect of eternal nothingness, oh, so nice. You know? Oh, so think about your family. Well, all my family are dead now, except for mom. What do you think about your mom? It's like, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. But then again, you're living for other people at that point, aren't you? Which is not a way to live at all, is it? Why don't you improve your situation then? It's like, yeah. I mean, I have, you know. I have tried. I've tried a lot. Why is that in there? How strange. Why is that in there? I found a random cigarette in my pocket. I have no idea why it's in there. Cool, free cigarette. What was I talking about? Mm, um, I don't know. I'm really tired of trying really hard at everything that I do. And I try so fucking hard. So hard. I put so much effort in to everything that I do. And I have no chill with that either, you know? It doesn't matter, like, even something as simple as playing a video game, I'm not one of these people that is half-assed. I can't lay back. I always have to try my best, especially if it's a team game. Because it's not just you then at that point. You're responsible and for other people as well, you know? You can't go in fucking half-assed. It's just not fair. Um and it's true of everything that I do. Even these shitty jobs that I get, right? Get a shitty minimum wage job, you go into the job, right? You're new to the job and you have to learn it. It's not a hard job, but you'll learn it in about a week, right? But you really go at it. You focus and you try to learn quickly so that you're not a hindrance. You're not a problem. You excel at your field, right? It doesn't matter what it is, as anything as simple and stupid as you can imagine. I really try, and then nothing works out. You know, Well, and then this is where somebody comes in, they're like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean, Michael, that things don't work out? What are you expecting? What is your expectation here? You know, are you expecting to get rich working these minimum wage jobs or doing your art? No. No. If you know anything about me, financial motivation is never on the cards. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I'm quite idealistic against that. And that's one of my biggest problems. It's not money. I don't know. Fucking acknowledgement would be a good one. I've never had acknowledgement from anyone. That's not true. That's not true. Okay, let me break this down. So I can get acknowledgement for anything that I do. Again, we'll take a stupid example, games, right? I'm really good at games, right? Just competitive team fighting things. You name it. If I apply myself to it, which I always do, if I enjoy it and I spend enough time with it, I get really fucking good, right? And then you can get a lot of recognition and acknowledgement for your skill within the game, right? And that's fine. That's good. That feels nice. That there is a positive influence that I have noticed and I pay attention to throughout my day if I've had a positive experience playing online competitive games, right? And it goes the other way too. If I had a negative experience where maybe I played very well, but my teammates did not play well and we lost. Or maybe I was having a bad day, which does happen, right? I had a bad day. Maybe I made a mistake, which cost us the game, right? And you blame yourself and you feel bad about that. That negatively affects me throughout the day, right? Because I care and I'm invested. But these kind of compliments, and I get it with art too, how would you put it? They don't feel very nourishing. Um, And I recognize that a part of that is me not letting myself feel good about things, right? This is a very typical kind of artistic attribute, creative trope, the self-deprecating artist, right? I am no different in that regard. But I have noticed that aspect of myself, and I've tried to address it over time. And I'm much better at accepting compliments these days. But these kind of like, and I don't, the word that comes to mind is cheap, but that's unfair because when you call something cheap in our society, it means it's low quality. You're dissuading that kind of behavior towards you, right? And you're it's almost like a betrayal of because a lot of the time the kind of compliments that you would get would be from friends or family, right? I'm not saying that their words are cheap. I'm saying that this type of it's kind of like a fleeting observation with very little overhead and very little investment and very little anything. There's not much to it. It's like a little bite, right? Little that somebody says about your work. They say it in passing. It's not. It's sincere, but there's no depth to it. You know what I mean? And what I fucking need, I need depth. I need somebody to really look at what I'm doing and go, I see what you're doing. I see that you put a lot of effort in, and I really appreciate that, right? I've never had that. I've never had anybody really pay attention to what I'm doing with my time. And this goes all the way back to school. Because I grew up in a single parent household, right? My grandparents were boomer shits who really didn't really very like good people. At least I thought they were good people. Uh, um, my perspective of them were good people was good people, but um, very self-interested, right? People from those generations, like, their idea of family is so fucked. You know, there's no support. You're just like thrown to the fucking wolves, you know? And there's a lot of virtue in that, but you have to have the environment where that is acceptable to do so. If the environment doesn't exist anymore where you can just walk down the street and get a fucking job, you know, it doesn't make sense to throw your children to the wolves, does it? If there's nothing out there to hunt or to eat, you know, um, they have a complete failure to adapt to modern circumstances because, well, we lived in the golden age, you know. We tried really hard and we got really far. It's like, yeah, good job. I try really hard too. I don't get anywhere though because those kind of opportunities don't exist anymore because you fucking ate them all up and then changed the world into some sort of perverted reality where those kind of opportunities just can't exist anymore, even if the sentiment is still there in some capacity, right? I've never had that, you know, I wouldn't call it negligence per se. It's more just people living their own lives, right? But if you have children, you need to be more than that. This is why I don't have children, why I made a very conscious decision to not have children, right? Even though I had the opportunity to do so, I chose not to have kids because it's so much more than, you know, what people think it is. It's even so much more than just always being there, right? Even that is not enough. You have to um you have to enrich them. You have to support them and be interested in them. You can't just have kids and not be interested in your kids. You have to be interested in them. You have to ask questions. You have to be invested. If they're doing homework, you don't have to pay too much attention to what you're doing, but it would really fucking help if if you were like, "Oh, what are you learning?" "Oh, I'm doing algebra." You know, it's like, "Oh, I haven't done algebra since blah. Can I have a look?" You know? And you just fucking look at it. Just look at it. Look at what I'm doing. Look at what I'm doing. You know? I never had that. From anywhere. Anyone. You know, in fact, quite the opposite. A lot of the sort of life circumstances that were put upon me by my family detracted from me doing homework, so it actually became much more difficult for me to do my homework and study and whatnot. And then you kind of like you sort of lose interest after a while, right? Don't you? But I'm seeing aspects of this now in sort of just my life. You know, it was the same thing when I was at community college. You know, as an adult man, right? Because I left school early. And then to test myself, I went back to school as an adult man to get some qualifications that I missed out on because I had some plans to go to university, right? But those didn't pan out, of course. Um, and you show interest. I had this one teacher. He's a really good teacher, but he's too aloof, right? You can't be too aloof if you're teaching. I mean, you can, and it's good and it's healthy for your career, but you have to be personal as well. In a matter of speaking, there's a fine line between it. You know, you have to take interest in your students, right? Especially if they're interested in the subject itself, because you know you're planting little seeds. That's the whole fucking point. You know, this is how the world. This is why. Maybe I am just a fucking colossal fucking brain. Maybe I'm just so fucking smart and this stuff just comes easy to me. And that's my torture, right? This is my hell. Because I understand it all, not everything, but because I understand things that I obsess over so well, and I'm not in a position to show you how it's fucking done. That's my torture, right? It's that I have to witness all these fucking monkeys floundering. It's fucking fish. Fish out of water. Everybody's a fish out of water. You know, just no fucking idea what they're doing. You just you just plant seeds, dude. Like, it's not hard. Just fucking show some interest. Ask some questions. You don't even need to know anything. You know how easy it is to show interest in what somebody's doing? You just ask them about it. You know? But the reason people don't do that is because they don't fucking give a shit. You know, people only care if it's about themselves. People are inherently selfish. And I don't know if this is a byproduct of sort of consumerist capitalist kind of society that we've kind of found ourselves in now. I don't know, because I didn't live back then and I don't have any sort of fucking time machine, right? But it seems to me that the best way for people to develop is to just fucking ask them questions, man. You know? If your kid is sitting on the floor and I don't know, they're drawing some pictures. You ask them about the pictures. What are you drawing there? Oh, I'm drawing this and that. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool. You know, maybe it's animals, and you're like, what's your favorite animal? You know, and they're like, ooh, I like this. It's like, ooh. And if you're somebody like me, you probably know um, some little weird animal facts or something, right? And then you tell them, and then they're just, you can see the spark inside them fucking light up. You can see it. I know because I've seen it before. You know, I don't even like fucking kids. Like, they annoy me. But I've had those interactions with children before where you just and they get so much out of it too. You know, they you can see it. You can fucking see it. You can see them lighting up. You know, and it just baffles me why nobody did that for me. You know what I mean? Because I fucking drifted for so long and my life is such a fucking joke and I have so much ability and promise, but I've had to manifest it all my fucking self. And it's too late now because I have so much fucking baggage and detritus and negative fucking degeneration and I smoke like hell. I think, oh, well, why don't you just fucking quit then? It's not that fucking easy. You ever tried doing anything when your life is shit? Anything difficult when your life is shit? Like, it's really hard. Really hard. Because you get into this mindset, well, why am I even quitting to begin with? Like, my life is shit and it's not improving, so why don't I just accelerate it? And that's kind of where my mind is at, right? Death. I'm just tired. Just so tired. You know, and I'm going to see, this is the problem. There was a time where I was very uncomfortable when I left school because, and I was kind of like in and out of these shit jobs. I used to work contract jobs with a job agency, right? And those kind of jobs are so shit. It was awful. Some of the jobs are good, but there's no kind of long term job security, which is fine when you're young, right? But uh, but I felt so bad because I didn't have any direction. And it was very obvious that the people around me did care, but at the same time, the kind of advice the people were giving me were not attuned to me. They were just telling me what they would do given their own anecdotal experience, which is fine, right? Because people talk from their own life experiences all the time. You use your frame of reference to judge. However, when you're dealing with something so sensitive and you have a child that you theoretically know, they didn't know me, right? My family didn't know me, and they still don't know me, by the way. Nobody knows a fucking thing about me because I've been waiting for somebody to ask a question for 36 years, Still hasn't happened. I wish I was joking. Like, people don't even know what kind of music I listen to, for example, you know? Like, it's fucking insane. Insane. I've essentially lived with strangers, sort of in periphery, for years. Years and years. My whole life. Um, but, so I was very uncomfortable when I left school because I didn't know what I was doing, and I had all this kind of pressure from my family uh, to be a certain way, right? And then this is a very common story. You spend your whole like 20s dealing with that, right? And then eventually you find yourself could have accelerated that whole process if I didn't have all this bullshit pressure and weird ideas that these old fucks had, you know what I mean? And if they knew me and kind of took an interest in what I was doing, then, you know, maybe I wouldn't be such a fuck up. And I am a fuck up. I can't help it. But anyway, to go way, way back, I need more than passing compliments. You know, I need somebody to pay attention to the kind of work that I'm doing. Pay attention to my life. Help me. Just help me. Just take interest, you know? Be interested in me. If you're interested in me, I would very much appreciate it, you know? But that's just not the way of the world. You can't expect that from people, Michael. People have their own lives. It really doesn't take much. You know? I mean, as it is right now, I don't actually have anybody in my life. Like, no friends really to speak of. So it doesn't actually matter. I'm mostly talking with rose tinted glasses, right? Talking about the past. But people don't care. I care, and I have asked questions before, but uh, it's too late now. Be the change you want to be in the world. I was. There was no change in the world, so I just got disappointed.